Have you ever wondered who will truly stand by you when the final chapter of your life begins? Music. As we get older, it is natural to look at the faces of our loved ones and wonder which of these deep connections will remain steadfast until the very last moment of our journey. But here is the truth. You might be searching for lifelong companionship in the places where it was never meant to be found without even realizing it. In this video, we are diving into several profound truths that show who can actually accompany you until the very end. Even if you have never considered this specific answer before, each truth reveals how lasting peace and companionship go far beyond the expectations we have placed on other people throughout our many years. Stay tuned until the end because you will discover how these insights not only boost your confidence but might just change the way you see your own existence, music, and your future forever. Now, let's get started. Number 1. The independent lives of children. One clear sign that your expectations for the future might need a small adjustment is if you find yourself believing that your children will be your primary companions in your later years. This can manifest in many subtle ways, such as expecting daily visits, feeling disappointed when they are busy with their own careers, or lingering on memories of when they were young and dependent on you. If you notice this kind of behavior, it is a strong indication that you might be clinging to a role that has naturally evolved into something new as your children have grown. Older individuals are often drawn to the idea that their legacy through their children will provide constant presence, as these thoughts can make them feel secure and valued in a changing, music, world. However, the way your children must prioritize their own families and responsibilities can tell a lot about the healthy boundaries you have helped them build. For example, a man named James, who is 72 years old, spent years assuming that his retirement would be filled with daily activities alongside his son and daughter. He felt a deep sense of loneliness when he realized they were often too exhausted from their own lives to maintain the level of companionship he had imagined in his mind. Once James began to encourage their independence and started seeking out his own interests again, he found a new sense of pride and peace that he had not felt since his younger days. It is not about being cold, distant, or trying to push your family away through exaggerated displays of self-sufficiency. What truly makes your relationship with your children appealing is your ability to be comfortable in your own skin, projecting a quiet self-assurance and emotional maturity that allows them to love you without the weight of guilt. People in general tend to gravitate toward parents who are grounded, vibrant, and able to engage in meaningful, relaxed interactions that do not demand their constant time. So, if you encourage their growth while maintaining your own steady presence, it may very well be because you sense your inner strength and wisdom, traits that naturally draw a more respectful and loving connection in. Number 2. The fragility of spousal companionship. Another significant sign that you are becoming more mindful of the reality of aging is when you acknowledge the beautiful but fragile nature of the bond with your spouse. While a partner is the closest confidant we can ever have, relying on them to be our only source of companionship until the very end is a path that often leads to a profound sense of vulnerability. This can show up in your life as a fear of being alone, a complete reliance on your partner for every social interaction, or even a feeling of being lost when they are not by your side for a few hours. Many people in their 60s and 70s assume that their spouse will always be there to fill the silence. But the reality is that life often takes us on different timelines that we cannot control. Consider the story of a woman named Susan, who was 68 years old and had spent nearly 45 years doing every single thing with her husband, from grocery shopping to morning walks. When her husband began to deal with his own health challenges, Susan found herself paralyzed by the thought of navigating the world without his constant guidance and presence. She realized that by making him her entire world, she had forgotten how to stand on her own 2 feet and how to find joy in her own company. When she began to cultivate her own separate hobbies and friendships, music, she found that her relationship with her husband actually became richer because she brought new energy and stories back to their shared home. This reflects a deeper level of self-respect and an understanding of how your identity must remain intact even within a partnership. You do not need to be inseparable from your partner just to feel loved or safe. What makes you truly appealing is your ability to listen to your own needs, music, and maintain a sense of individuality that complements your shared life. Choosing to develop your own inner strength shows that you value the time you have together while preparing for whatever the future may hold with grace. When you prioritize your own emotional resilience, you are projecting a sense of peace that others can sense and admire. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 2 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Now let us move forward. Number 3, the natural fading of friendships. If you consistently notice that your social circle is shrinking as you get older, that is a clear indication that the nature of friendship is shifting from quantity to a much deeper and more selective quality. Many older adults find that friends move away, focus more on their own health, or simply drift apart as their interests change over the decades. This is especially true for those of us who have reached our 70s and 80s, as the energy required to maintain a vast network of acquaintances often gives way to a desire for more meaningful and quiet connections. A person who takes the time to appreciate the friends who remain while also being comfortable with the silence of those who have left is seen as someone who values the present moment, which is very attractive to others. Whether you are someone who keeps a small group of lifelong friends or you are the master of making new connections in your community, the way you handle these changes says a lot about your character. For instance, a man named Robert, who is 75 years old, used to feel a deep sense of bitterness whenever a longtime friend stopped calling or failed to visit him in his new home. He felt as though he was being forgotten by the world and that his value was tied to the number of people who sought out his company. However, after he joined a local woodturning class and focused on the simple joy of the craft, he met a few new people who shared his current passions, music, and realized that new seasons bring new faces. This demonstrates your attention to the flow of life and your understanding that people come into our lives for different reasons, music, and for different lengths of time. Your ability to balance your memories of the past with the reality of the present adds layers to your overall appeal as a wise and grounded individual. Moreover, the attention you pay to being a good, music friend to yourself during times of transition shows that you are a person who takes pride in your own inner world. This level of care and consideration is something that many people find incredibly appealing, as it signifies that you are not dependent on external validation to feel complete. Embracing the natural ebb and flow of friendship allows you to remain open to the world, music, without being crushed by the inevitable changes that time brings to every social structure. Number 4, the illusion of material companionship. When you begin to notice that your belongings and your physical environment cannot provide the deep comfort they once did, it is a clear sign that you are gaining a deeper level of insight into the difference between comfort and companionship. While we often spend our younger years accumulating things that we believe will make us happy and secure, music, the truth is that objects cannot hold your hand or understand the depth of your soul as you age. If you find that your house feels too large or that your collections no longer bring the same excitement they did when you were 40, it is an indication that your system is asking for a more spiritual and internal form of connection. For example, Linda, who was 81 years old, lived in a beautiful house filled with expensive furniture and treasures from her travels around the globe. She started to realize that despite being surrounded by these beautiful things, she felt a profound emptiness in the evenings when the rooms were silent. She decided to downsize to a smaller, more manageable space and gave many of her belongings to her grandchildren, finding that the joy of giving was far greater than the joy of owning. By choosing to prioritize experiences and simple moments over the maintenance of a large estate, she felt lighter and more connected to the people around her. This subtle but significant change suggested a curiosity and admiration for a life lived with less clutter and more heart. What makes this realization so telling is that it is often a deliberate moment of observation regarding what truly matters when everything else is stripped away. It shows you are intrigued by the possibility of finding richness in simplicity and are willing to make changes that support your peace of mind. Whether you choose to clear out a closet or simply spend more time in nature, it shows a deeper level of commitment to your true self. You should recognize that this detachment from material things, music, is not a sign of loss. It is, in fact, a testament to your growth and wisdom. It is a reflection of how you present yourself as someone who values the soul over the shell. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 4 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Now, let us move forward. Number 5, the reliability of physical health. One clear sign that you are taking your future seriously is if you prioritize your physical health as a foundational companion for your later years. While our bodies may change and slow down, the way we treat them determines how well they can accompany us through the final stages of our lives. This can manifest in many subtle ways, such as choosing nourishing foods, maintaining a consistent walking routine, or simply listening to the signals of pain or fatigue that your body sends you. If you notice this kind of behavior, it is a strong indication that you are building a partnership with your own physical form. Older individuals are often drawn to the idea that health is a matter of luck. But the truth is that our daily choices create the framework for our mobility and independence. For example, a man named Charles, who is 67 years old, used to ignore his rising blood pressure and his constant back pain, thinking it was just a part of getting old. He felt as though his body was failing him and that he was a victim of time. Once he started working with a physical therapist and, music, adjusted his diet to include more fresh vegetables, he felt as though he had gained a new ally in his quest for a long life. It is not about having the body of a 20-year-old or trying to perform exaggerated athletic feats. What truly makes your physical state appealing is your ability to move with ease and grace, projecting a quiet self-assurance that comes from knowing you have taken care of your vessel. Women and men alike are drawn to those who exude vitality and strength, as these qualities make them feel inspired and hopeful about their own futures. The way you carry yourself through the world can tell a lot about how much you respect the life you have been given. So if you treat your body with kindness and discipline, it may very well be because you sense your inner resilience and your desire to remain active, traits that naturally draw a more vibrant and fulfilling life. Number 6, the eternal presence of the self. The final and most important truth is that the only person who can truly accompany you from your first breath to your very last is yourself. This realization is the ultimate answer to the question of who will be there until the end, and it is a sign of profound emotional maturity to embrace this bond. This natural confidence and inner peace are magnetic and cannot be faked. They draw people in without any effort on your part because they sense you are truly whole. When you develop a deep and loving relationship with your own mind and heart, you are never truly alone, regardless of who else is in the room. For instance, a woman named Barbara, who is 84 years old, had lived alone for over 15 years after her husband passed away and her children moved across the country. Instead of viewing her quiet home as a place of loneliness, she saw it as a sanctuary where she could read, reflect, and enjoy her own thoughts. She found that because she was so comfortable with herself, people were actually more drawn to her because she never seemed needy or desperate for attention. This internal peace, combined with a genuine and unpretentious self-assurance, enhances your overall attractiveness and your mental resilience. There is a timeless quality to an older individual who is their own best friend, one that resonates deeply with others who value authenticity. Your ability to be just yourself without the need for constant validation from others becomes your most compelling feature. It is not about being a hermit or avoiding people, but about knowing that your core happiness is generated from within. Embracing your own self as your primary companion is the secret to a life that feels complete and beautiful until the very last moment. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 6 below, music, to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Now, let us move forward. Final thoughts. As we wrap up this discussion, take a moment to reflect on the truths we have explored together today. What stood out to you the most as you thought about the people and the things in your life that you have relied on for companionship? There is something uniquely reassuring about the presence of an experienced individual who has learned that the greatest source of peace comes from within their own heart. We often feel a sense of comfort and trust when we see others taking charge of their emotional well-being with such grace and wisdom. Younger individuals, while vibrant and full of energy, may not have the same depth of insight that you have cultivated over the many decades of your life, and enjoy her own thoughts. She found that because she was so comfortable with herself, people were actually more drawn to her because she never seemed needy or desperate for attention. This internal peace, combined with a genuine and unpretentious self-assurance, enhances your overall attractiveness and your mental resilience. There is a timeless quality to an older individual who is their own best friend, one that resonates deeply with others who value authenticity. Your ability to be just yourself without the need for constant validation from others becomes your most compelling feature. It is not about being a hermit or avoiding people, but about knowing that your core happiness is generated from within. Embracing your own self as your primary companion is the secret to a life that feels complete and beautiful until the very last moment. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 6 below, music, to let me know you're here. And if you haven't